I spent the early morning hours working on and then finishing that. I believe it's that same styrofoam I showed during my dinner, which is now pretty much in the front. And it was that same styrofoam that I showed during my Spanish talk abroad conversation. In order to show que estoy un pintor, or that I am an artist. I may not be someone who makes a living off of my art, but theoretically I could do it if I keep practicing at it in order to continue to improve my skills within the artistic fields. Now, this is how I prepared for my last talk abroad conversation of the semester. And possibly the last one I may ever have. Though I would still like to have more of these conversations. I'm happy to report that my fellowship was able to complete the tasks, was able to make it to the end chest in time. Someone apparently delivered the last Farmer's Delight badge by producing at least 10 baskets of groceries, or 9-hour supply production periods. And I was able to replace my carding library. I have this old building that I got a while back. Oh, there it is, the Goddess of Wishes building. This is theoretically something that can be replaced every now and then. Every 12 hours. Excuse me. So it's temporary for about a month. I suspect by then I'll be on the Orcs and Goblins chapter. Oddly enough, I think it was when I was heading back from getting lunch. After my talk abroad conversation, in which, as in most cases, I actually only ended up asking a minority of the questions I wrote down, specifically trying to remember. I recall asking this one and this one, and there were also certain questions that my talk abroad conversation partner asked me, I believe as part of the instructions for that conversation that me Professora gave. The Mango for Real smoothie is much healthier than the milkshakes, which I think are typically near 500 calories. So as I was heading back from getting lunch, when I walked into the elevator, apparently there was some kind of secret room that you only see when the other wall of the elevator is open. It's some kind of secret room for janitors and other cleaners. This room that I saw was relatively small. The entrance to it was kept open with a broom and a mop, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. As she moved those items out of the way of the opening so that that door could close and that the elevator could then go up. Yeah, it was after getting lunch. Because this happened immediately after, as I was leaving the Harrison dining hall, after getting my lunch, in which I said that I believe they're a male security guard, that they had a familiar face in order to insinuate that I've seen them multiple times over the years. And at the time, at least, I felt concerned that maybe that was an awkward comment, but it was how I felt at the time, since I've seen that person a lot of times throughout the year. And then I wished him a good day, though I may have also did that before I particularly said that. Yeah, I missed dinner because I fell asleep in the afternoon after I was done with my national security class on Wednesday, which consisted of us continuing the war games simulation. What occurred on the second day starts around here and ends around here. This is where I am currently for the research. At some point around 3:30 p.m., I think shortly before I ended up falling asleep, it rained, at least briefly, and the atmospheric changes of the raining produced felt pretty good as I laid in bed. Essentially relaxing. I did this bit of studying before a talk abroad conversation. And I believe I finished the Wednesday talk abroad assignment during the early hours of today. At the latest. Essentially, perhaps, as I was working on that styrofoam, I encountered that same cleaning janitor as I was picking up in my dorm room. It's still pretty messy, but it's now neater than it was previously. I have a recycling bin in a corner of my room, but it's not easy. It's not possible to show it from this exact position. Anyway, what I've been doing most recently is working on the 99th Dan Hamming. Mostly adding things within the raw Beyond Studio video maker. I'm kind of wondering on what I'm going to do in order to solve the problems that I'm currently experiencing. I'm currently working on a scene involving the EMTs and some kind of other medical staff. Presumably a doctor who came out, who went into an ambulance and then rode the ambulance and then walked out of it. To respond to the scene. Either way, that's what Vion did, some generic doctor character for ultimately the patient actions. And I have a pretty limited capacity to change this generic character. Thankfully, I was ultimately, the other day I was able to change up that generic character's face. Through a combination of making a custom character in Beyond, using the snipping tool and Lunapic, and some editing in Camtasia. By the way, it's not exactly a good idea to play co-op games in Bloons Tower Defense 6 because the connection for a co-op game can be pretty weak at times. I personally I only played co-op because I saw that there was a daily challenge for it today. And I felt like playing some kind of quick game of Bloons Tower Defense 6. I was the highest level player within the game I created of 3 players on the encrypted map with tower restrictions and special bloom properties added. I got all this stuff from the nest at roughly 10:18 p.m. I would say. Apparently, they had some kind of promotion about asking for a free bag of popcorn to celebrate the arrival of the spring season. But the female cashier told me that she threw the popcorn away because it apparently had gotten stale, but that they may do the promotion again tomorrow. Oops, I accidentally went on the Spire of Eternity. I meant to open up my Ancient Wonders in order to show where I am on the mountain halls, and to be exact, I'm currently here. I can almost start building the mountain halls Ancient Wonder. Excuse me. I've almost managed to max out my fairy settlement. The spoon is pretty much, aside from the For Real smoothie, getting any leftover hummus. I got the roasted red pepper flavor because I believe that flavor is healthier. And apparently when I got it, it was somehow detached. I either accidentally detached it or it somehow came that way. Either way, the cashier had to go back and get the hummus part. Otherwise, it'd just be the equivalent of the snack brand pretzel chips, essentially. And it wouldn't be as healthy because the hummus contains a whole lot more vitamins and minerals than the pretzels. Yeah, I spent a significant amount of time listening to improvement pill YouTube videos. because they're pretty interesting. I listen to them as I prepared for, my fourth talk abroad conversation today this semester. I believe I found this pen on the ground as I was walking back from lunch. I called my dad while I walked to get this dinner from the Nest, and I believe my dad forgot to call me back, but maybe he did, and I was just distracted from that co-op game in which I got the hero Geno in, who's essentially a female monkey with a flamethrower and an obsession with fire, which player 2 approved of quite a bit. I believe I was player 1, so player 3 disconnected first, and then player 2 disconnected. There was also a point at round 62 in which the game experienced extreme lag due to a buildup of camo regrowth balloons due to the combination of their regrowth properties and minimally corrosive monkey glue that I in particular got in order to slow up the Moab class balloons. There was a point in which player 2 attempted to rejoin, but they weren't successful.